In the heart of the African rainforest lay the remote village of Ebun, an enclave untouched by the outside world. The villagers lived harmoniously with nature, guided by traditions passed down through generations. They revered their deities, the spirits of the land that protected them, ensuring their harvests thrived and the rivers flowed with life. One fateful afternoon, as the sun dipped low, casting a golden glow over the village, 5 strangers emerged from the thick trees. The men were unlike anyone the villagers had ever seen, tall, fair-skinned, and adorned in strange garments. They stumbled into the clearing, weary from their long journey, their eyes wide with wonder at the lush surroundings. The villagers, startled by the sight of these strange foreign figures, gathered in hushed whispers, their eyes wide with both fear and fascination. Mothers clutched their children close, while the men stood alert, gripping their spears and farming tools with tense hands. A few of the braver elders cautiously approached, their steps slow and measured, while the younger ones lingered at the edge of the crowd, clutching their wooden charms for protection and murmuring prayers under their breath. To them, the pale-skinned strangers were unlike anything they had ever seen. Their presence felt otherworldly, as if they had descended from the sky, God sent from the heavens to walk among mortals. The villagers had never encountered anyone who looked like them before, and their curiosity mingled with a deep, primal fear of the unknown. As Father Jacob, the leader of the group, stepped forward, a warm, reassuring smile spread across his face, radiating calm and confidence. His eyes, kind yet firm, scanned the crowd, seeking to ease their fears. Clad in a simple robe, his presence was dignified, and his movements were slow and deliberate, as if not to startle anyone. He raised a hand in a gentle gesture of peace, his voice steady and clear, cutting through the tense silence. "We mean no harm," he called out, his tone smooth and deliberate, carrying a sense of sincerity. "We are travelers from a distant land, come to share knowledge and the word of God. We bring with us stories of hope, wisdom, and peace, and wish to befriend you, not to disrupt your lives. We have journeyed far to be here, guided by the belief that we can learn from one another." His words hung in the air, and he hoped they would bridge the gap of fear and curiosity that separated them. The villagers stared, wide-eyed, trying to process the stranger's words. Their faces reflected a mix of confusion, awe, and cautious hope as they struggled to comprehend the message being conveyed. The concepts the travelers spoke of were foreign, almost mystical, and their native tongue lacked the words to fully grasp these new ideas. Instead of questioning, the villagers relied on what they understood: reverence. Slowly, some of the elders dropped to their knees, heads bowed low, while others followed suit, pressing their hands together in silent prayer. They believed these men were divine beings, messengers from the heavens, sent to bring blessings, protection, and wisdom to their village. To them, the appearance of these strangers was a sign, an omen of great change, one that could bring prosperity or calamity. King Osoro, a wise and noble ruler known for his sharp mind and strong leadership, soon learned of the white men's arrival in the village. Word had spread quickly about the mysterious strangers and the reverence they inspired, causing both curiosity and unease to ripple through the community. When King Osoro saw his people bowing and worshipping the newcomers, he felt a mix of emotions. On one hand, he was proud of their devotion and willingness to honor what they perceived as divine, yet he was also deeply concerned. What if this was a test from the gods, or worse, a deception? He could not allow his people to blindly follow without understanding who these men truly were. With a stern yet calm resolve, King Osoro summoned the 5 strangers to the royal hut, a sacred place where only the most honored guests were allowed. The hut was adorned with intricate carvings that told the village's history, stories of great warriors, the wisdom of past rulers, and the gods who watched over them. Wooden masks and sacred totems hung on the walls, each symbol representing protection, strength, and the ancestral spirits. As the strangers stepped inside, they were met with the faint scent of burning incense, a sign of respect and welcome. King Osoro sat at the far end, on a raised platform covered in rich, woven cloths, his expression unreadable as he prepared to address the guests who had turned his village upside down. The king spoke, his voice deep and respectful. "You are honored guests in Ebun. We shall treat you as our gods, for we believe you are here to bring us prosperity." Father Jacob and his companions exchanged uneasy glances, feeling the weight of the villagers' expectations bearing down upon them. As the days passed, the villagers continued to shower the white men with gifts, each gesture an expression of their deep reverence and gratitude. Every family in the village, from the wealthiest to the poorest, contributed what they could. Women carried baskets overflowing with ripe fruits, mangoes, bananas, and coconuts, while men brought freshly slaughtered goats, chickens, and other livestock as offerings. Some even presented finely woven baskets filled with grains, herbs, and delicacies, prepared especially for the strangers. These gifts were not just offerings, but a sign of respect, a way of honoring what they believed to be divine messengers who had graced their village. In their honor, the villagers constructed a grand hut that stood at the heart of the village, a structure unlike any other. It was built using the finest materials, with tall, sturdy wooden pillars, carved with intricate designs that told the stories of the land and its people. The walls were adorned with vibrant fabrics, dyed in rich hues of red, gold, and green, each symbolizing different aspects of their culture: prosperity, power, and life. Skilled artisans worked tirelessly to add details, creating patterns of animals, mythical creatures, and celestial bodies, all representing the connection between the earthly and the divine. However, while the villagers celebrated, the missionaries grew increasingly uncomfortable. Father Jacob attempted to teach the villagers about their true purpose, to spread knowledge, love, and the teachings of God. But his words were met with confusion, and the villagers dismissed him, continuing to worship the men as if they were gods. One day, as Father Jacob shared stories beneath a baobab tree, a brave young woman named Amara approached him. She had often watched from afar, fascinated by the white men and their customs. "Why do you not embrace your power?" she asked, her eyes bright with curiosity. "You could change our lives forever." Father Jacob, taken aback by her directness, smiled gently. "Power is not something to be used lightly," he replied. "It must be understood and respected. Sometimes, the greatest strength lies in knowing when to act and when to wait." Amara's gaze was steady. "But if you can help us, why wait?" she pressed. "What good is power if it isn't used?" Father Jacob paused, seeing the hope in her eyes. "It's not about refusing power," he said softly. "It's about using it wisely, to help without causing harm." Amara listened, still seeking a promise of change, but left with more questions than answers. As time passed, strange phenomena began to plague Ebun village. The sun blazed too fiercely, the river's flow diminished, and crops began to wither. The people, once filled with joy, became anxious. Whispers of discontent echoed through the huts as the elders convened to discuss the troubling signs. Meanwhile, the true god of the land, Arinze, watched in fury. He had protected Ebun for generations, ensuring their prosperity and well-being. But now, as the villagers worshipped the white men, Arinze's anger swelled like a brewing storm. He decided to punish the people for their folly, sending dark clouds over the village, threatening their very existence. Desperation gripped the elders. They gathered in secret to consult the oracle, a revered priestess known for her connection to the divine. The air in her hut was thick with incense, and the flickering flames of her sacred fire danced wildly. As she fell into a trance, the elders held their breath, praying for answers. After what felt like an eternity, the oracle emerged, her face pale and grave. "The gods are angry," she announced, her voice trembling. "They have been insulted by your worship of these strangers. The land will remain cursed until the blood of the false gods has been spilled." The elders were shocked. Sacrifice the white men, the very beings they had honored. King Osoro's heart sank as he realized the implications. He summoned the 5 missionaries, his expression heavy with sorrow. "The oracle has spoken," he said, his voice cracking. "You must understand, we did not choose this path. You have been revered as gods, but the true God is angry, and the only way to appease him is through sacrifice." Father Jacob and his companions felt horror wash over them. They had come to share hope and love, not to be slaughtered. "We can leave," Jacob pleaded, his voice desperate. "We will not impose upon your village any longer." But King Osoro shook his head. "The oracle has decreed it. The sickness plaguing our people will only worsen unless we follow through." The villagers, once filled with joy, now faced a grim fate. As the days turned into nights, the villagers prepared for the ritual. They adorned themselves in their finest garments, their faces painted with intricate designs, as they awaited the ominous ceremony. Father Jacob, meanwhile, prayed fervently for divine intervention, pleading for a miracle that could save them all. On the night of the sacrifice, the villagers gathered around a massive bonfire, their faces illuminated by the flames that flickered like the spirits of the ancestors. The atmosphere was heavy with tension, and whispers of fear spread through the crowd. The white men were led to the ceremonial grounds, bound and placed on the altar, surrounded by the elders and warriors. Just as the high priest raised the blade to strike, a deafening crack of thunder tore through the sky, silencing the crowd. The ground trembled beneath their feet, and a blinding light enveloped the altar, illuminating the darkened night. With a wave of his hand, Arinze restored the river's flow, bringing life back to the crops and healing the sick. As the villagers watched in awe, the brightness of his presence dispelled the darkness, and a sense of peace washed over them. As swiftly as he had appeared, Arinze vanished, leaving the villagers in stunned silence. The atmosphere shifted from fear to relief, and the villagers rushed to untie the missionaries and embraced the villagers. They begged for forgiveness, their eyes filled with remorse. Father Jacob, overwhelmed by the miraculous turn of events, felt a surge of compassion. "We came here to share love and knowledge, not to be gods," he said, his voice steady yet kind. "Let us learn from this experience together." The villagers, realizing their folly, embraced the missionaries as equals, pledging to learn and grow together. From that day forward, they shared knowledge, intertwining their beliefs, traditions, and the teachings of Father Jacob and his companions. The story of the false gods and the wrath of Arinze lived on, passed down through generations, serving as a reminder of the delicate balance between the seen and the unseen, the human and the divine. Ebun village became a place of unity, where respect for the true gods was paramount, and the lessons learned were woven into their culture. In time, the villagers flourished, growing strong and prosperous, and the white men returned to their homeland, forever changed by their experience in Ebun. They spoke of the wisdom they had gained from the people of the village, understanding that true civilization lay not in imposing beliefs, but in mutual respect and shared learning. And so the legacy of Ebun continued, a testament to the strength of humility, understanding, and the eternal bond between humanity and the divine. I truly appreciate your time and love for these stories. If you'd like to hear more, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new tale.